It's big plays.
What a play!
Bad days.
I bet this guy's into the woods $100.
And parlays.
That's the one. Parlay.
Big plays, bad days, and parlays on Hurrdat Sports.
Care to place a wager?
Saxophones are on, and we have liftoff. Big plays, bad days, and parlays back with you. James Merrick, Troy Aldridge, Andrew Rogers in the seats. And there's a lot to talk about this week, but before we get there, boys, good to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
You as well.
That was a very defeated you as well. Oh, man. Some connectivity issues on James's end, so he may be jumping in and out, kind of like how the green bet slips are in my DraftKings app, just jumping in and out.
Yeah, they look good for a little bit, and it's always that last game usually.
Unbelievable. It is, and it's just frustrating, man. It's just overall frustrating, and we'll get into that here in just a bit. The World Series begins this week. Exciting for Troy. As for James and I guess it's exciting that we get to bet on it, and we don't have any real passion toward either franchise, but that's okay. NFL, NHL, NBA, golf. Am I missing anything? College football? Of course I'm missing college football. That's my thing. We'll get into that in this show. But I wasn't able to bet as much on Sunday. I couldn't put a lot of bet slips in because I was working. I was emceeing a hockey game here in Omaha Mavericks hockey. Shout out. But at least I did get some entertainment from that game because following the handshake line, this happened.
There's a full fight emerging. It's line on line. Everyone out of the bench. There's a full scrum near side. Braden Nicholas has tied up Jacob Cavin. A three-a-side battle to our near side. Jimmy Glenn between the circles. Tied up with Rubtsov. A straight right from Glenn. He hammers Rubtsov with a hook. A right hook in front of the dots. Glenn is tied up with Rubtsov. Caden Bolson shoves Kate Nielsen to the ice. Both officials are trying to break up the scrum between Glenn and Anana in between the circles. A full Donnybrook has broken out at Baxter Arena.
Yeah. Wow. Just an absolute free-for-all of punches being thrown. Let me set the stage here, boys. So Friday, overtime game, Omaha, Alaska. Omaha, the better team, lose in overtime. Alaska celebrates in front of Omaha's bench. Wait one day, they play again Sunday. Sunday game goes into overtime. And the Mavericks win this time. And then they celebrate in front of the Alaska bench. Naturally, right?
Right, of course.
Chippiness all game long, all series long. So if I'm an official, I acknowledge the situation. I know that there's some animosity in the room. I make the executive decision to say, no handshakes. That's what I do. I say, no, both teams just leave. I know sportsmanship is a big thing, and especially in hockey, normally you can let bygones be bygones and, shake hands. Not in this case. In this case, college hockey, we're still dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds here. Of course, I mean, we're 25. James is, 24?
Yep.
I mean, we're immature still at our age. So why wouldn't you think that kids in college would be immature? I mean, you guys got into a fight at Alabama one time. Trying to get into a fraternity house. So,
yeah, that was fun.
Punches can be thrown anywhere at this age. If I'm an official, I'm like, no, we're going to pass on this. I know sportsmanship is a big deal in the sport, but I would be more worried about people potentially getting game misconducts, and I use the word potentially because of what happened. If you make the decision not to, then boom, you explain to the league, hey, here was the situation. This is why I made this call. You can rain down on me in any way that you want, but I felt in that moment that it was best for both teams just to go their separate ways, meet again next year. Instead, they shake hands. One thing leads to another. One word gets said and another fist gets thrown, right? Big fight breaks out. Entertaining.
That video was insane.
entertaining for all the fans. I don't
Fight
really
that
know.
big could go to the crowd too.
And that was something that, was a potential thought. In that arena, the boards are pretty high. Nobody can really get over from one end to the other. And I wouldn't say the fans were like jawing at Alaska's team by any means. It was a smaller crowd on Sunday, rightfully so. NFL was on. Not much really to worry about there. There was an issue of some people were divided when it came to the athletic director and one of the assistant athletic directors coming onto the ice to help separate and like direct teams to go one way or the other. And some people praised the efforts of the AD, saying like, hey, quick work. You had control. This is your arena. You're not going to let shit hit the fan here. But at the same time, people were like, let the officials sort this out. Game management, coaches, let the people on the ice sort it out. Some said they looked, for lack of a better term, like clowns going out there. Others, like I said they were heroes for going out there and making something that was a brawl-like situation fizzle down quickly. So I don't really know where I stand on it. All I do know is if I was the official, I would have said, let's just go our separate ways.
Yeah, you can't you knew that was going to happen. And maybe deep down that ref wanted to see it. He had to have.
I don't know. I mean,
right.
They collectively were like,
him, basically mauling people on the ice, trying to rip them off of each other. And then once two officials get one fight settled, here come three more.
There's a full fight emerging. It's line on line.
Seriously, it was. There were like 11 people throwing fists. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know what happened. I haven't read the outcome of it by the league yet. I wouldn't be shocked if 4 or 5, maybe 6 game misconducts were handed out. So now you have Now you have 3 players from each team, maybe 4 players from one team, having to go into their next matchup. Thank goodness conference play hasn't started yet for the Mavericks, and it's still non-conference play next weekend, because the following weekend's North Dakota, which is arguably the biggest series for the Omaha Mavericks. Thank goodness this happened 2 weeks prior. But this could have all been avoided if they just went away from shaking hands here.
Simple as that.
So I got some excitement. I didn't have to see my money get lost Sunday afternoon. Now, Sunday evening was a different example. But we don't need to go there. We don't need to go. I don't need to go back down that rabbit hole. I don't need to. We don't need to. Now, let me preface this story, though. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. But let's talk about our build a parlay from this past weekend. So, I got a bet slip. So obviously we all in tandem, for the people that don't know, place only one slip. We don't all 3 put money down on the same thing. It's better for the odds that we don't. I don't know. Is it? Or would it just split it 3 ways? Regardless, we just have one person do it. It's just easier. So I get the bet slip. Troy, thank goodness Troy went to the border and placed that bet for us. So we had the build a parlay out there. And I'm watching college football because that was the first bet on the slip. Because it was Tulane minus 6.5. It was the over in the Blues Oilers game. And then Troy had a UFC fighter.
Yeah, he was the first one technically because it was in Abu Dhabi. So his fight was actually at like 130 or something like that.
So that was Aljamain, right?
It was, yes.
So those were the 3 in the build-a-parlay. And I'm looking at the bet slip, and of course I'm looking at it when I'm in the bathroom, because what else am I doing than scrolling my phone? And I remembered seeing that Tulane was playing Buffalo on the slip. And then I'm going through the ESPN app, and I'm like, no, Tulane's playing Memphis. So who's playing Buffalo? And sure enough, I look at the slip, and it says Toledo minus 6.5. Now, the odds were relatively close. I think one was...
They were the exact same.
Yeah, okay, so the line was the same, but Toledo was actually minus 120. Tulane was minus 105 at minus 6.5.
The spread was the same.
The spread
they were
was
both
the exact
plus
same.
7, and I choked.
So Troy placed it, and look, Toledo was up by double digits in this game. So
it was 27-10.
They were up 10 points, I believe, most of the game. And then Toledo coughs it up at the end.
Like 24-0 in the fourth quarter.
It wasn't like that. It was like 27-13. But still, it wasn't close.
They got outscored by 3 touchdowns in that fourth quarter.
They did. They ended up
100%.
losing by like 5 points.
Yeah.
So, and it's because Toledo just turned the ball over on back-to-back drives. So we watched that bet go to shit. And Troy he's just texting me because, everybody knows what happened the week before to me. So he's just like, man, and I'm like, dude, it's good. I honestly said this. I said, Troy, it's good. I appreciate you owning up to it because that is something one other individual did not do right away. So I was like, I appreciate it.
Monumental.
It was a monumental mistake, but
unacceptable.
There is good news to this because no matter what, James's bet didn't even get close to hitting.
Not even close.
It ended 2-0 Blues.
Those
Bennington
goalies.
pitches a shutout.
Was it Campbell and Bennington?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Those guys.
And they played out of their mind.
They were so clutch.
They played out of their mind.
Two great offenses.
Some of the saves that were being made in that game.
I saw one from Bennington after. I couldn't watch it because I had no service.
I bet Edmonton gets shut out probably less than 10 times this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're insane.
Like, that's crazy.
So because the build a parlay did not go our way, good rhyme there, thank you. I'll take credit. And the bet placed by Troy that got checked later saw a team replaced. Here's how Troy reacted.
Why? Why? It was 22.
That is you, Kevin.
I am so sorry.
He's so sorry.
Reggie Miller screaming.
I get a text saying, dude, if the over hits, I'll send your money back. I messed up the bet. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I did Toledo.
And then worst thing, Troy, to make up for his mistake
Tulane, Toledo, come on.
They're same amount of letters. Start with a T, third letter's an L. I get it. I really do get it. When the line's 6.5. Now, Troy, a little bit dyslexic, so it's okay.
Can't believe it.
But
why did they both have to be +7, dude? There's no way that's real.
But Troy ended up placing another bet in turn to try to make up for it. And he really tickled my balls in this bet because 2 legs hit. And he's like, dude, all we need is what? What was it, like a split decision?
No, we just needed Islam to win by decision instead of choking him out in the second round. We needed it to go the 5 rounds.
Just go the distance.
And him get his hand raised. Yes. Yep.
So
I tried.
You know what? It's okay. It's okay because it just matches everything else that's happened to me over the course of the last 4 weeks. 1 leg missing. It's just my thing.
That's been the story of my life too, Raj. I'm joining you in that, and it's been absolutely brutal. I hate it.
Devastating.
I hate it. So many missing by that.
Thursday Night Football was on TV. I had a bet out for that. I had Virginia +4.5 solo that hit, and then I had a 4-leg NHL parlay, and all I needed was Patrice Bergeron to get a point. Patrice Bergeron, this guy has been lighting it up to start the year, and the Bruins scored 1 goal that game. And it went to overtime. So, like, I had a chance. It went to OT. Didn't happen. Did not happen. That's okay, though. Now, I knocked Troy down. But I'm going to pull him right back up because Troy, the only person here that had some wins, and the big wins for tea time, had him like,
who's your daddy now? I just want to know. I want an answer, and I want to.
Who was that?
That is Pedro Martinez after the Yankees coughed up the series to the Houston Astros and said, it's not Big Papi, it's not me anymore. Yankees, who's your daddy now?
It's good.
Who's your daddy now?
Kind of sounds like Stewie.
It does.
I was going to say King Julian from Madagascar.
Also true.
Yeah, that too.
Who's
That's
your daddy
hilarious.
now?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I just want to know. I want an answer, and I want to.
And it's just the "Who's your daddy" that he just his accent comes out.
Right. Oh man. Such a funny afterthought. And I mean, Pedro, I know he's throwing shade and it's all humorous, but to the Yankees fans in that situation, you know they were riled up on Twitter.
And they already hate him just because of him being a Red Sox. So he doesn't care.
He just embraced it.
Who's your daddy now?
Like, that sounds like a voice actor.
Oh, man. So I fell one game below 500 on college football this weekend, and I'm starting to limit myself for the foreseeable future. I actually told Troy that because I've had so many misses consecutively, and I've only been making money back on college football, but I'm still down over the course of the last 3 weeks. So instead of putting out the amount of money I think it was close to, I don't know, $200 a week. I'm going to dial it back in to $150. Now, you guys may think $150 is still a crap load of money, and you're right. But I place $100 on college football every Saturday, and I either break even or make $20-$30 here and there because they're all solo bets. Now, I may actually put like closer to $250, but we don't need to tell my girlfriend that. But I'm dialing it back, right?
Yeah, 150 my ass.
No. I actually am keeping myself to 150. So I've only put down $20 this week. And that was on NHL, right? Now, 7 straight parlay losses by one leg up into this point. I don't have an NHL win yet. At what point, and I'm asking you guys this genuinely, at what point do I turn around?
I mean, dude, the beginning of the season's tough for hockey.
But it's not just that. Tough. I'm just saying, like, betting in general.
I know. But, everybody goes through rough patches. You hit the one, so you're not completely dry. Like,
way back when?
Like, was it last week?
No.
Weeks ago.
I have not hit a parlay, if that's what you're asking. I have yet to hit a parlay in, like, 2 months.
Other than the build a parlay, I guess.
Other than the build a parlay.
That counts.
Yeah, that counts.
So, well, it would have been about 2 months. Part of that. That would have been about 2 months, right?
You need our help, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would have been.
It would have been about 2 months. I feel like I said this on last show. We always talk about bets we like and things that get placed, but I never ride the right ones. And it's still a problem to this day. But so
at least, yeah.
So do you think I'm making a good call by limiting myself, or do you think I'm doing myself a disservice because now I won't have a greater chance of making it back because I'm not placing all the dang time?
I think that you should continue what you were doing. Just when you're going to throw $10 on a bet, maybe you only throw $5.
That could
I
work.
would say place the same amount of bets that you want, because you just, and you're not going to be mad if you make 150 instead of 310, I would just, dial back not the amount of bets, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the quantity, the quality.
No, just the quantity is what you're looking for, because you're saying just subtract $5 from every bet.
Yeah, because you'll cut your stuff in half, because you always throw like 10, 15, maybe throw like 5 and 8s out there. See how that goes.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe go for smaller payouts, or maybe I just play it safe. Instead of doing 4 guys to get a point, I do 3 or 2 guys to get a point. Maybe I just turn $20 into $40 and be happy.
True. Yeah, do that for a while, build it up, and then once the season gets going, when it gets easier to predict.
I think I like that more, man.
Because the end of last hockey season is when I started making a lot of money off points bets.
Yeah,
like the second half of the seasons where you could be like, "Oh, this guy's getting a point for sure."
Right,
lock.
It's easy once there's like 10 games, like you're saying, like to go back on and be like, "Ooh, the last 10 games he did this."
It's so hard right now. You can't even go back 10 games. It's until you get even close to the All-Star break. It's hard.
Well, it's so inconsistent. I bet against the Coyotes on Tuesday night. They give up the most goals in all of hockey, and instead they won that game like 5-2.
Yeah, they give up like 5.5 a game.
It's just crazy. But you guys got me feeling good right now.
Oh my gosh. Talk to me, dirty corn dogs.
Whoa.
Are we on?
Are we? You're on, sir.
You're
on
absolutely on.
The mic is live.
The mic is hot. Hey, this reminds me.
Dirty corn dogs.
This reminds me of a similar situation, less egregious, but that happened in Cincinnati last year and there's a high fly ball to deep left field, Castellanos.
It is going to be a home run.
I'm so sorry as Castellanos hits a high fly ball to
My deepest condolences, Castellanos dong.
That's not me. You just said it.
Right, exactly.
You ask anybody, that is not me. Yeah, that's not how I am. Like,
that's just, you don't just
said it.
You don't just let that roll off your tongue if it's not you. Now, in this case, to put some context on the audio, there was a video of these long corn dogs, at least a foot long, maybe more. So that's what they were commenting to, because they were coming in from break with that cutaway shot. But somebody potted up their mics early before. But at the same time, here's my thing. When he said, "Are we on?" And it's loud in a college football stadium, but you can hear the feedback. Like, you can hear return coming through your headset. So you know what a headset sounds like when it's on, and you know what it sounds like when it's off. So I'm curious to why he was like, "Are we on?" Or if he just wasn't paying attention and then realized, "Oh my gosh, I can actually hear myself return. Oh, are we on?"
Maybe he was trying to
talk to me, dirty corn dogs.
Wow. I think maybe he was like trying to break the ice or something. Maybe like if he did hear the feedback and he was like, "Oh, are we on?"
Whoops. And it could have been, but just his voice in that, it sounded like he was kind of in a panic.
That dude was hungry.
Taken off guard. And you know what's so funny about it? Later in the broadcast, I think I saw that they all ended up having corn dogs, to go back on what he had ended up saying. So it's funny. We always throw a broadcast call in there. Everything's a broadcasting call, of course, except for the fishing video that got out of hand. But in this case, we always make fun of a broadcaster.
Call the cops.
Call the cops.
It's a felony.
Are we on?
Are we on?
Oh, man.
Let's
you hear
go.
A little chuckle.
Yeah, I know. I left it in there for a reason, just because. I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
Are we on?
Like we do every week, let's talk Thursday night football to begin. Ravens, Buccaneers. Troy, I'm going to start with you, big Ravens fan down below. What do you like in this matchup?
I'm going to be honest, there should be a decent amount of scores. Like, I would say probably 5 touchdowns in this game.
All by the Ravens?
Hopefully. That'd be fantastic.
The Buccaneers do not look good.
No, they don't, but our defense has been giving up some chunk plays. So, unfortunately, I think they'll be able to keep it close, especially after the past 2 weeks. I mean, I hope they continue to take a shit. That'd be great. Lamar's played well against Tom in his career, too. I don't know if he's ever faced him on the Bucs. I think he's only faced him on New England. So that'd be kind of cool. But for my touchdowns, I'm going to do Andrews, Lamar rushing touchdown, and Chris Godwin. I think Mike Evans is safe too, if you want to throw him in there. But I'm going to do 3 and then do some yards maybe. And then like a Tom Brady interception, of course.
Staying away from Chris Godwin this week, I see.
I think he scores, man. He boned me last week. I've wasted money on him for 3 weeks. When you do that with the type of guy like him in that offense, you just have to keep going. It's like you when Aaron Judge is trying to hit a home run. You keep wasting because you know you're going to miss it the moment you stop.
And is that this week for you? Are you stopping?
Yes, I'm going to keep going with him.
Oh, you're gonna keep the Chris Godwin train alive.
Yes.
So I will not bet until you stop. I'm gonna sit
Correct.
Chris Godwin in my fantasy lineup.
He does everything but score. I mean, dude, he gets tons of targets. I'm not sure what his red zone targets look like, but they haven't gotten to the red zone the past 2 weeks.
Fair enough.
Dude breaks a finger every game, I swear.
Godwin?
He is paper bones a little bit, yes.
He's going to have arthritis bad.
That whole receiving core is shaken up outside of Mike Evans. Oh, I shouldn't even say outside of Mike Evans because he gets shaken up every week.
Yeah,
too.
I think he's questionable.
He was limited. Monday and Tuesday. He should still play on Thursday. James, what do you like on Thursday night football?
I'll start calling Mike Evans Christian Watson now after dropping that touchdown last week.
Which would have completely changed the narrative of that game if we're being completely honest.
Dude, oh my God, exactly like the Packers, dude. First play of the game, 75-yard touchdown drop. First play of the season offensively.
Uncharacteristic for Mike Evans, still a rookie for Christian Watson, so I'll throw him a bone there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so I like in a parlay, my touchdowns I would do Mark Andrews, and then I like Mike Evans to not drop the breadbasket touchdown this week. Those 2 touchdowns. I also like Gus to score. Don't mind him at all. And then I also like Andrews and Evans receptions and yards, 6+, 65+. I think that's really safe. And then I also like the Tom Brady interception. He's only got 1 this year, I think. But I like it against that Ravens secondary.
What'd you say?
He'll be throwing.
What'd you say Evans' receiving prop was?
I did 64.5. It was like -130.
Okay.
And then Andrews 64.5 was +110, I think. And then their receptions weren't up yet, so I don't know.
Right. I think people are safe even going higher on Mike Evans this week. I
think you could go higher on both.
I have over 68.5 as his receiving prop. That's if you take it solo outside of a same game parlay. Now you can build a same game parlay and decide to add some other things in there. But this week, Thursday night football, if I'm sticking to 2 prop bets because that's all I'm throwing out. Like I said, I'm being cautious. I'm taking Mike Evans over 68.5 receiving. Troy alluded to it. James said it. He should have a touchdown this week. The Ravens secondary is nothing to brag about this year. There's no Julio Jones. There's no Russell Gage. He dropped that touchdown. He's playing ticked off with a chip on his shoulder. It's a mistake Evans doesn't make a lot. He'll make up for it this game. So I like his over 68.5. On the other side of the football, on the other offense side of the football, I like Lamar Jackson rushing over 60.5. He went over that number twice in the last 4 weeks. He missed by less than 3 yards in the weeks that didn't hit. I think in this game, the
less
Tampa
yards in both.
What's that?
Less than 3 yards in both of them.
Yes, one was 58, one was 59.
That's wild.
So Lamar, though, I find him to be such a good visionary quarterback. He can just see the open field so well, and he doesn't always look to throw. I would venture to say that he looks to run just as much as he looks to throw because he just doesn't want to get sacked in the backfield. Troy, you may know this stat. Do you know if Lamar Jackson is one of the least sacked quarterbacks in football?
He always hovers right in the middle. Sometimes he runs himself out of sacks. Sometimes he runs himself into sacks. So they balance out sometimes, but I mean, he's definitely getting out of more sacks than getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
And I think in this game, the Buccaneers defense needs to figure themselves out. They were one of the top defenses coming in to this NFL season, and they've just lost it. They've lost all control. This may be the game that they start getting pressure to the quarterback because you don't want to sit back and try to contain Lamar, because if you sit back and don't put a lot of pressure on him, that's when Lamar is at his finest, when he has all the time in the world to just review and look every direction and then say, I can still run on you if you only rush 3. I could still do that. So
he had so many 7-yard runs last week on first down. It was awesome. Just free. The defense was just giving it to him and he'd just run out of bounds.
And it's even a greater possibility that they RPO more now that J.K. Dobbins is not in. And it's Gus Edwards, Kenyon Drake back and forth. Lamar Jackson is the best running back, best tight end, best wide receiver on the Baltimore Ravens that he can produce for himself. I like those two props.
500 rushing yards.
Easy. I think both of those are very safe props to go with this week. The World Series starts on Friday. I'm getting punished. It was inevitable after watching the Yankees go down 3-0 in that series. They had no chance. The team itself was hitting like 160 going into Game 4.
It's huge.
I had Phillies, Stros, Phillies 4-3 win. So if that happens, that's going to be pretty crazy.
Would have been.
When did you place
bet
that
on it?
No, I'm saying just on here when we had to make our brackets, I had
You're right.
Phillies, Astros.
Man,
yeah.
Can you imagine placing that?
Dude, someone did. Like back in like June, they placed like a $20 bet on insane odds for the World Series matchup to be nothing else, just the two teams, Phillies, Astros. I mean, it won like $2,500 and it was on a $20 bet.
That's wild.
It's awesome. Like, that's crazy.
I saw somebody back in June that bet like it was like a point in 2 hockey games and then Phillies plus 3,500 to win the World Series all in a parlay.
Like, how?
What?
Well, they must be a Flyers fan betting on them and then saying, hey, let's just throw the Phillies money line in.
It was in June. It had to have been in the playoffs.
Wow.
Right. It wouldn't have been the Flyers then. They definitely weren't in the playoffs last year.
Nope.
Holy cow. Good for people. Like, there's so many bet slips that I'm starting to see surface on social media that are like, how? Somebody put $1 on 5 first baskets to win like 10 grand the other day. $1.
I wish. That'd be so nice.
So I'm getting punished. Troy has the Phillies winning the World Series. It's obvious. I'm not even going to ask him. James, who do you think wins the World Series?
Honestly, at this point, I'm rooting for the Phillies. Like, screw the Astros. They've had their time. I've enjoyed, I've been at Troy's or with Troy a lot of the games too. So it's been fun to watch the games, like actually sit down and watch all of them. Cause I probably wouldn't do that since the Cardinals are out, but just being over there, they're on anyway. So I've been watching them and I love betting on Bryce Harper. That dude's made me the only money I've made in the last 2-3 weeks. It's been, but I think it is going to be a close series. Honestly, I think the Phillies are just hot right now. Like, the Astros are always good, but the Phillies are hot, and the hot team in baseball comes through a lot of the times in this situation.
Both teams are so hot, though. That's the difference.
Do you see Verlander's stats in the World Series?
Oh, I just know Verlander.
He's like 1 for 5 with like
is
one World Series. He's like 1 for 5 with a 5.6 ERA or something like that. It's pretty.
I feel like that's
bad.
just his playoff record.
Yeah, right.
He's just never good in the playoffs. Never performs. You mentioned hottest team. It's hard for me to debate who's the hotter team. I think the Astros had the easier path to get there just based on how poorly the Yankees played. They didn't have to do much in order to win those games. And at least in those early games, a 2-0 lead was all they needed. They felt comfortable with a 2-0 lead. The Phillies, however, were back and forth so much with how high scoring those games were.
I think they had pretty much their easiest path that they could have had, though, too, getting the Braves instead of the Mets and the Padres instead of the Dodgers.
Now, the Braves are nothing to sleep about, though. They're last year's World Series champion.
Yeah, and they play well against the Phillies, I feel like. But I don't know. The Mets seem dangerous to me.
The Mets seemed a lot like the Phillies. Those two teams mirrored each other a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Really good starting
pitching. We can't beat the Mets either. We can beat the Braves. We can't. The Mets just stomp on us every time we play them.
Braves didn't hit well in that series.
I would rather play the Braves.
Yeah, they didn't hit well in that series either.
But either way.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
We are.
I'm rooting for the Phillies, but if I had to place a bet, it'd be on the Astros. If somebody held a gun to my head and said place a bet on this World Series winner, I'd pick the Astros just because their bullpen is insane. Insane.
So for the people listening, the Phillies are a lock thanks to Andrew Rogers.
Yes, they are.
Yep. Me and Troy will shut our mouths now.
We just had to hear it. Exactly. There it is.
We will place our bets
You're welcome.
accordingly.
You are welcome.
Who's your daddy now?
Yeah, we'll play that. We'll play that again after the World Series is over. Hopefully, that's Troy saying it instead of Pedro Martinez.
Who's your daddy now?
I love the fact of Nola Wheeler 1 and 2 on the road. I think that it doesn't get any better than
Why
that.
Nola first? Why not Wheeler first?
Well, Nola's better, first off.
Not true, and no.
Second off, Wheeler pitched the last game, so
plenty of rest.
It just makes sense to give him the extra day of rest. It just makes sense.
Plenty of rest up to this point.
Because
Why did they start the World Series on Friday?
Over a week, maybe a week and a half of rest now. Just makes sense. I love it. I'm so glad it worked out like that because Aaron dominated them to clinch the postseason berth for us. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that's who we had to beat to make the playoffs. And Aaron threw he had a perfect game going into the 6th or 7th inning. And that was against their full lineup. I get it's different. It's a World Series, but I think he's going to be just as sharp. I'm pumped. I can't wait.
What do you guys think about the over-under? It's at 6.5.
Under.
I'd take the over in game 1.
I would think the under, but after seeing Verlander's stats, it's gross.
Nola's going to get lit up too.
But Raj was saying about the Astros bullpen being good.
Yeah, it's been insane.
Yeah.
Astros, and it's names that shouldn't be awesome.
I'm telling you right now, Hector Neris will sell. Neris, however you say it. When he comes into the game, live bet the Phillies, no matter the score.
It's plus
100%.
It's plus 4.5, and you could just take the safe bet. No, you bet the money line.
100%.
You bet the money line.
You see Neris come into the game. He's throwing, I promise.
Oh man, I'm still a Zach Wheeler guy for game 1, but we'll see. We'll see. I've been wrong before. Not in this case. NHL. I already capped out on my NHL bets, so you're not getting anything from me unless I spruce it up on
capped out this week.
Yeah, unless I spruce something up this weekend after a win on Thursday Night Football.
Me and James tried to go a different route, and it's honestly the same. Really waiting, we tried to do shots on goal, and James brought up a good point. I was begging for an Aho point, and he got shots on goal. He got 2 in the last minute and a half of the third period or second period, and he just goes, "That's all it takes."
Yeah, just shot on goal off the blocker, straight back to him. Another shot.
One.
Yeah, or a power play.
That is so inconsistent, though. That
it is. That's
relying on that.
Yeah, like you said, he could hit it in 2 minutes. Especially like you said on the power play.
Right. The odds of that happening though have to be under 2%. 2 shots back to back.
I made one and it hit. So.
I'm not saying you made a shots on goal bet and it hit. I'm saying getting 2 shots back to back have to be less than 2%.
Oh, I bet that happens a ton.
No, not by the same guy.
I'd say it does.
I don't know.
No.
Like a guy trying to jam it in there, or even just right off the pad, 2 more passes right back to him.
But so do they count a moving puck right on the pad if somebody's just jamming at the puck? I bet that's still only 1 shot on goal.
I'm not sure.
They probably have to be a little further away, to where it actually visibly bounces off of it and comes
them making contact with the puck and pushing it forward.
I just think there's no way that happens often. A shot on goal, if you take 1 shot on goal and it comes back to you and you take it again, that has to be such a rarity.
I'm not sure.
There's no way to look it up, sadly.
Yeah.
There's somebody that has that stat. Somebody out there does. They know that because
I don't.
People take stupid stats all the time. But
I'm gonna start counting for you.
We're not going to be able to track that down. It'd be interesting though. I don't think so. That's where I'm going to sit. I don't need to go any further into that. Should we talk Saturday? Should we go into Saturday? Do you guys have anything for the NHL?
Saturday is your favorite day.
It is. It is my favorite day. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped over golf.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say something.
What's this one called?
No, don't say. Troy, guess the occupation of the tournament name. Like do they sell food? Like keep it generic.
They sell car parts.
I'm going to say insurance.
I'd have to look it up.
Oh,
it's called Butterfield Bermuda Championship.
No shot they sell insurance.
I don't know what Butterfield is.
Butterfield, Bermuda.
Bermuda? Isn't that a color?
Gosh.
Bermuda's a country.
It's an island.
Oh.
Is that a country?
That's where they're playing.
Corn dogs.
Is Bermuda a
I
country?
don't know if it's. I think it is.
So I guess we just have to look up
Maybe
Butterfield then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Butterfield.
Go ahead and give your little midget of information, and I will figure out who Butterfield is.
So yeah, super weak field. It's a coastal tournament, obviously, since it's on Bermuda. So looking at a lot of wind, they're forecasting some pretty heavy wind, maybe even a little downpour. So I'm looking at ball strikers in this tournament. Best ball strikers tend to do the best in wind. I usually like Aussie guys because they play in the wind all the time. But this field's really weak, so I don't even know if there's any Aussie guys playing. These fields are the ones that you want to take the long shots because it's the guys that are anywhere above plus 3,000. It's gross to take. It's like those guys never touch 4,000 and they're 1,800, and just because they're the best in that tournament, and they don't outweigh the competition enough to take them at those odds at all. So these are the best to bet low, win high on. I think the winner here last year was 66 to 1 odds, which is incredible. The two guys I like are at plus 3,000. Russell Knox. He's a great player in the wind. He's one of the best ball strikers in the field. He's played here 3 times, tied for 16th, tied for 12th, tied for 11th. Hasn't broken that top 10, but I think in this field, with how weak it is, I think he could win. Just need the putts to fall. That's about it. And then I like Patrick Rogers. He finished 4th here last year, 2 shots off the lead. He hasn't won on tour, and I like it to be his first to break through.
Great last name too.
Consistent player, yeah.
There's a D.
There's a D though.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Still the same sound.
I looked at the field, like just the times, and it was disgusting.
You probably didn't know like 80% of the names.
Legitimately, yeah. I would say I know Patrick Rogers, but if you showed me a picture, I wouldn't be able to tell you who he is.
Right.
But it was, yeah, I agree with you. I think that this is anyone's game, 100%.
Guess what country is Russell Knox from?
Russell Knox. Argentina.
Does that sound Hispanic to you, Raj?
Yeah.
I said, what country is Russell Knox from?
Russell Knox.
Yeah, what's your guess? Troy said Argentina.
North America.
Pick one.
To me, Russell doesn't sound super.
Oh, that's the continent. Canada.
Nice work. I didn't want to be that dumb, so I said a country.
Hey, I caught myself.
Scotland. He's a Scot.
Could have been Canadian.
I like those two. That sounds.
They often play.
You've convinced me.
Who? Me?
Yeah, I'm doing those two guys tomorrow for sure.
Not me.
Plus 3K.
What do you think they are to lead the first round?
Ooh, let's look at it.
Hammering. I'm going to do both those guys. Seriously. First thing I do when I get to work. 5?
And you're putting 10 for both of us?
Yes.
Let's see. Patrick Rogers plus 4,500.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Knox plus 5,000.
Love it.
There you go.
Ball striking clinic.
Best plays for James in the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, which Butterfield is the leading independent offshore bank and trust company headquartered in Bermuda, which sounds like a great company for the criminals out there that listen to our show to take part in, because any offshore
I still think Bermuda is a color.
Maybe, but it's
Isn't
like
it like a
it's
blue?
a type of grass. It's a type of grass.
I've heard am I thinking just the Bermuda Triangle?
So that's a thing. That's
yeah,
where they're playing.
Oh,
some of the golfers disappear every tournament.
Bermuda.
And they never come back. Their families
Thank goodness.
don't even.
Yeah, they
They have
start
to sign
playing
waivers. They don't even question it.
they don't even question it.
They have to sign NDAs.
Just going out there. Bermuda is a deep muted marine aqua blue.
There it is.
But also macaroni and cheese is a color if you get the 100 box. So a lot of things are colors.
Craft.
The internet is never wrong. It's a blue.
Mac and cheese. Yeah, right. Bermuda. I'm pretty sure Bermuda's a color. I'm pretty sure Bermuda's a grass. You know what I mean? Could be anything.
It is. Well,
Bermuda grass is a thing.
Yeah, apparently it's one of the easiest to putt on.
Huh. Perfect. Golf reference. Moving on. Now we're on to Saturday.
They probably have Bermuda greens there if it's in Bermuda.
That would make sense. Can you imagine if it's like
almost makes
Argentinian grass?
That's where Troy's from.
I got to see the one college game in my pick'ems this week so I can ask Raj real quick.
College football. I went 4-5 last weekend, 30-23 on the year. Only looking at Saturday here. 3 games. I'll give you 3 games, and then catch me on Twitter at Andrew Rogers TV for the rest of my picks on Saturday. First game on the list, Marshall -2.5 against Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina, one of my favorite teams this year, as I've bet on them numerous times, said their name on this show plenty of times. But Marshall is coming off their first Sun Belt win in program history, while Coastal is coming off of a loss. Marshall is one of the best group of 5 defenses in the country. They've allowed only 3 yards per carry to opposing running backs and fall in the top 10 in a smattering of categories that include rushing success rate allowed, stuff rate, and defensive line yards. They also have a better secondary than Grayson McCall has seen all season. Marshall leads the nation in passing success rate allowed and EPA pass allowed, which that's expected points added. That measures how well a team performs relative to the expectation for that game. Even though Marshall has struggled offensively, defense is what will win this football game. And a line as short as 2.5 is why I like the Thundering Herd. The juiciness says go Coastal Carolina's way, but this weekend, we are Marshall.
I like it.
Illinois -7.5 against Nebraska. The homers here in the state of Nebraska that listen to this show will not like what I'm about to say. Illinois is better than Oklahoma. It'll be a low-scoring affair. I trust that Illinois' offense won't just completely destroy Nebraska, like by putting up 40, 50 points is what I mean. It could be a spread of something like 25-10, but that's what I mean by low scoring in this matchup. A lot of people are saying it's going to be 27-28, or Nebraska's going to lose 28-21. If Nebraska puts up 21 points, that'd be awesome. It'd be awesome to talk about on our show. But Illinois has the best defense in the country. They're the only school that allows less than 4 yards a play, 221 total yards per game. They have the second best red zone defense in college football. They are top 10 in third down defense. Plus, on the other side of the ball, they have a Heisman candidate running the football who is the best in the country when it comes to rushing yards and rushes to date. They like to run the football. Despite the preparation by Nebraska, knowing that Chase Brown is going to get a lot of touches in this game, they are also injury-riddled defensively, and they've been trying to fill holes all season long just to find some continuity week in and week out. Nick Henrich just went down with a season-ending injury. Linebacker, leader on defense. They've got holes to fill. And it sucks to say, but Nebraska's numbers just don't come close to Illinois'. And the fact that people are factoring in that Nebraska has played Illinois close the past 3 years and are their only win 3 years ago against the next 5 teams they're about to play. They're 11-1 against the next 5 teams over the past 3 years. If they can shut down Trey Palmer and keep Anthony Grant in check, I wouldn't be shocked if this is a 10-point win. And to add to that, by the time Saturday comes around, I'd bet that the line jumps to 9.5 or 10.5 in favor of Illinois. So if you can snag them at 7.5, I think that's a steal for this team. It opened at 5.5 on Monday. Oh, I'm sorry, Sunday night. Monday morning rolls around, 7.5. They gave 2 points overnight.
Wow.
It's just going to keep climbing. Last one on this list, Oklahoma State money line. That comes in at plus 100. What is up with all of the haters on Oklahoma State this year when they play a ranked team?
Right.
Last week they played Texas.
That's my pick'ems. So how confident are you?
I love Oklahoma State this week.
Can I put them like up there, like at the 12 or 11 range?
I would, because most people wouldn't. Most people have K-State winning this game. But if you look at the predictor, it's like 50.7% in favor of K-State.
Is that who Vaughn plays for? Is that his last name?
Yes.
Yeah. That dude's Deuce Vaughn. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, he's got a great name, too.
Oklahoma State. All right, I'm going to lock it in tomorrow.
Sanders is no joke. And he proved that against Texas. They were losing in that game the majority of the time. Oklahoma State doesn't have the best defense out there. I get that. But Spencer Sanders can put up points. And in my opinion, you may have to sweat this, Troy, but I think this comes down to the last score of the game. Like, whoever gets the ball last wins the game. Oklahoma State has the better offense, which is why I favor them. K-State can run the football and will likely control total possession in this game from start to finish. But remember, Oklahoma State was 7.5-point dogs as a higher-ranked team than Texas last week and won that football game. K-State is ranked, but they are not ranked as high as Oklahoma State. And there's a reason for that. There is. I know people will bring up last week, Ole Miss lost to LSU, and LSU's unranked. LSU was ranked earlier this year. Stop it. And Ole Miss stopped playing defense in that game. They were up 17-3. Good on that offense for making a drive back, and it's so hard to play football in Baton Rouge. When you play in front of the LSU fan base, it's difficult.
Death Valley.
People just keep sleeping on this Cowboys team, making them underdogs. And this isn't the first time, right? This isn't the first time. And I'm going to keep reiterating that. Take a step back and look at the game against TCU. TCU, awesome football team. What are they, 8th in the nation now, I believe?
Up there.
8th best team in the nation. They may be 6th. I think they're 8th, though. They lost by 3 points to, Oklahoma State, I think, is 8, aren't they? So TCU would be 6.
They're 9, right? Oklahoma State.
9? Okay, then TCU may be 8. TCU won this football game on the last drive. It went to double overtime, though, in order for TCU to win. TCU wins by 3 points because they didn't have to kick the PAT. So if you look at everything that I just told you, even though K-State's playing good football right now, the status of Adrian Martinez up in the air, backup quarterback in, that team looked completely different. Oklahoma State's money line at plus 100 is too enticing not to grab. Not to grab. My 3 picks for college football, my 3 favorites. And you know what? Go back. If you don't believe me, go back and look at my record. 30-23, that's in the money for college football all season long. You may think 30-23, that's not that great. 30-23, that's $70 difference.
That would make the playoffs.
$70 difference has been consistent this time around. So, there you have it. College football on Saturday. Alabama off?
We don't get our weekly dose of sloppiness out of them.
Although they completely manhandled Mississippi State last weekend.
Yeah, their offense had nothing to do, which was surprising with how our defense has been playing.
I'll tell you what, though, James, it's no wonder nobody likes Alabama. Nobody, because Nick Saban, up 30 points, is freaking out at an official for no reason. You guys are going to win this game. That's all that matters. You're going to win this game. And then
there was less than a minute left.
And then you allow Mississippi State to score, and the defense and the guys in the secondary were basically butting heads with each other because they were mad nobody picked them up.
Yep, they're pissed.
See ya.
Oh. Okay.
Lost internet connection. James, Alabama fan, he must have been pissed too, and he just got off. He must have just
a bye week, man.
Here he is. Let's bring him back. Welcome back.
Hey.
I was doing so well.
Well, it was mid-conversation too, so I said, yeah, you just got so pissed that I brought off Alabama, and since you're a fan, you rage quit.
Yeah. No. No, but yeah, since we didn't get the weekly dose, I had to go with and get my pick this week. And I'm a fan of their college basketball team. It was who I picked as a little kid. I've always been a fan. The Syracuse Orange playing Notre Dame this week. Syracuse
2.5 point favorite?
Yeah, 2.5 against
Crazy.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame has not played well this year.
4-3, playing on the road. Syracuse 6-1. They're ranked. I love it.
Notre Dame starting the year too, like 4th, 5th, or 6th in the nation. Something crazy.
Right. Which, I mean, it makes you think they could start playing good out of nowhere. But no, I like that. I don't think that's a trap at all. 2.5 points, I think, is a little too low for that.
Keep in mind, though, Notre Dame beat UNC back in September, and UNC is an awesome football team.
Yeah, they are good.
45-32 was that outcome. Now, also keep in mind that Clemson plays Notre Dame next week. So watching this game is actually really important because it makes or breaks Notre Dame's season, because they could easily be 4-5 in 2 weeks. So they're playing with a little bit of fire right now. So that's why I actually avoided this game for now. I'll watch it as it gets closer to Saturday. But 2.5 points for Syracuse, a team that controlled Clemson most of the game, I don't mind taking it right now as a 3-point favorite. Let's move on to NFL. Let's get some betting trends out there, and then we'll get into these games. Of course, courtesy to the Action Network for these betting trends. I really like following along with their work. Aaron Rodgers has made 234 regular season and playoff starts in his NFL career, and Sunday could be the first time he's a double-digit underdog.
Yeah, they're going to get boat raced. I'm sorry, James.
Don't apologize. I mean, I already know it.
I think that 10 points
I love when you talk into your fist.
Dude, I had to leave. I was at my friend Matt's house watching that game. I had to leave early. Like, it was so bad.
He's the king of leaving early. It's kind of funny. Yeah. He'll watch one drive and be able to tell exactly how the game's gonna go.
And it does. It goes exactly how I pan it out in my head every time. And I just can't predict it on the bet slips. But yeah, it's been rough to watch, man. Our defense, we were looking really good, or looked really bad the first game. Started playing really well.
7 first-rounders on that defense.
It's gone to shit, man. Like, getting bing-bonged by both New York teams, and then losing to the Commanders, man. We couldn't put up anything. What do you think we're gonna be able to do against the Bills? And now we're looking at AJ Green. Oh, get ready.
Oh, what is happening?
Jeez, see ya.
Troy kicked off. What?
Oh my God.
You guys? Oh, you don't live in that apartment complex anymore. I was going to say you guys live in the same complex. It must be a St. Peter's thing. All right, let's just wait for Troy to come back now. Here he is.
Yes.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Jeez.
Just said something went wrong.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the second betting trend, and hopefully both guys don't leave on me. Underdogs are cashing at a historic rate this year. Underdogs are 62-45-1 against the spread.
What?
Road underdogs this season are 36-26 ATS, and underdogs of over a field goal this season, 44-22 against the spread.
Wow.
That's wild.
That's crazy. So surely the favorites will start going off, right?
You take all the dogs this year, and you're still up like $1,400.
You imagine?
$1,400 on like a $100 bet. I believe straight up it's like 46, 62, and 3, and that doesn't sound good, but because we know how underdogs
plus 300
plus money looks like, you can still get up into the plus. So yeah, pretty crazy.
Wow. Why aren't our touchdowns hitting if all these underdogs are winning?
Because we're not taking the money line. We're just not we're not taking the money line. We're not smart. Maybe now we will. Mid-season superlatives. Listen to this. Best against the spread. Can you guess the two teams that are best ATS?
The Falcons. Because you've been saying in the past couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And
another team I've been saying a lot.
Cowboys?
The Jets?
Close. Giants. New York Giants. Both Atlanta and New York, 6-1 against the spread, the two best teams. Worst ATS, James's Green Bay Packers, 2-5. Carolina, New Orleans, Jacksonville, Denver, and Tampa Bay, all teams 2-5 ATS this season. Best straight up, Giants and Jets, both New York teams. It's nutty. The Giants plus $952. The Jets plus $680. Worst straight up this year, 2-5. Saints down $413. Detroit 1-5, down $405. The best over teams: Saints 5-2, Browns 5-2. Under teams: Tampa Bay 6-1, Colts 6-1, Denver 6-1. Second half unders: Denver is 7-0. If you take their second half under. Cincinnati 6-0-1, second half under. I wouldn't do that this week though. Not with the Bengals. Second half overs. New Orleans 6-0-1. Is it New Orleans or New Orleans? It's Leans, right?
Depends on your accent, I think.
I say New Orleans.
Okay. First half ATS. Philly 6-0. Seattle 6-1. Indy, the worst, 0-7, along with Chicago 1-6 and Arizona 1-6. Second half ATS. Best two teams: Cincinnati and the New York Giants.
I bet I could say who the worst is.
Let's hear it.
The Ravens?
No, actually.
Really?
What?
Ravens' second half ATS is not the worst. There are two teams. One team's 0-7, the other's 0-6. So the Ravens must be 1-something. Can you guess the two teams that are over in the second half ATS?
Lions?
His Packers.
His Packers are 0-7.
Oh my God.
Dude, it's been just as bad as you got. It's been, I mean, obviously worse.
And then the other one, who else is choking?
AFC team.
Oh, I was going to say the Tampa Bay's got to be up there too. They don't score any points.
The Raiders.
Neither. Nope. Raiders are actually
AFC.
pretty good in the second half.
Who's a good AFC team that's been struggling? Like the Chargers?
Not the Chargers. They are atop their division, though.
Seahawks.
Wow.
What'd you say?
Seahawks?
Not the Seahawks. NFC team. That's
my
AFC
bad.
team.
I forgot you said AFC.
Are the Seahawks atop their division, too? Can I look that up? Yeah, they are. Holy cow. 4-3 in the NFC West.
That's why I said them.
AFC South.
Who's first in that?
Oh my, I needed Anthony Edwards' first basket. 3. 1 for 1.
I don't know who's first in that division.
Gonna take a guess?
No.
Tennessee Titans, 0-6, second half ATS.
Titans, how are they first?
4-2. Well, they also play the Colts, Houston, and Jacksonville.
I know. Yeah, I guess.
Last betting trend, the Giants enter Week 8 undefeated, straight up as underdogs this season. They are a perfect 5-0, and they play the Seahawks this week. I could easily see the Giants winning, and I actually would put money on the Giants to win this week. Betting trends. Going into Week 8 of football. Let's talk parlay work, or, whether it's straight up bets, solo bets, whatever it is. Let's talk that. And now, James, go first.
Some touchdowns for the noon slate I like. For some running backs I like, just to throw some out there. Zeke against the Bears. Dalvin against the Cardinals. I like Mostert to get in against the Lions. I think Mostert runs all over the Lions. Even doing some of his props. I might even start going for some of those same game X's I might start going for, like doing a touchdown for someone and some yards for somebody else and out of one game and then just going to another one and doing that. I might try that this weekend. Let's see, who else do I like? Breece Hall. Rip.
Stop.
Josh Jacobs against the Saints. That's a good one too.
I like Josh Jacobs this week, too. If I built a parlay, I'm not sticking to the noon or 3 o'clock slate, but Jacobs would be one of mine. He has 7 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. Derrick Henry's another one I like to get it into the end zone. He's got the cakewalk Houston defense. And I'll combine it with some wide receivers. Justin Jefferson against the Cardinals. You mentioned Dalvin Cook. He hasn't scored a receiving touchdown, I should say. Passing touchdown. What am I thinking? Since week 1. Tyreek Hill, I also like to score against the Lions. You brought up that defense. It's been 5 weeks since Tyreek Hill scored a touchdown. Those would be my 4. Did you stop there with the noon slate, James? Go to Troy?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to do noon or 3?
Do whatever you want. Anything you'd like.
You could go noon and go into 3, and then I'll go with
I love the noon receivers. I think that CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Adams could be pretty juicy. Do the Dolphins play at noon?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, like Rod said, throwing in Tyreek Hill and doing those 4 guys.
Yeah, even Waddle, too. Either one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And then for the running backs at 3, he hinted at Henry. I think since he didn't score last week, he's a lock. I think that Kenneth Walker probably put money on him every week. And Taylor, he's been kind of quiet. I think he finds the end zone. And my receivers were Pittman, Cooper Kupp, and I was thinking Tyler Lockett. How do you think that passing game's going to look without Metcalf? I mean, Lockett's really just a deep ball guy. He's not really a guy that can catch 8 to 10 targets and get a ton of red zone looks, I feel like.
I think Lockett could still be used in the red zone. I really do. I don't love Marquise Goodwin. I know he went off last week.
Somebody's going to have to catch one, right?
I don't buy into that hype. Yeah, you're right.
So his odds could be decent, too.
That dog did not like that. Jeez, are you at the pound?
It's a husky.
Is that one dog?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It sounds like 7. Good Troy, God. Go into, or not Troy, James, go into your 3 o'clock slate before I throw in some extra bets, and then we'll build the parlay.
Christ. I don't love the 3 o'clock wide receivers. I'd probably stick to running backs in that one, maybe throw one wide receiver in if I really like him in that game. I do kind of like Pittman against the Commanders, so maybe that's the wide receiver I'd throw in. And then I'd go with
Pittman,
Derrick Henry.
Just one quick note on that. Pittman being paired up with Sam Ehlinger now, and I don't really know how that will look. I just don't know what to think of Sam Ehlinger just yet.
No, I agree. Yeah, I don't think he's the answer or anything.
The younger Matt Ryan.
I just think Matt Ryan was doing so bad that you can't really go much more downhill than that. So
Matt Ryan doing bad? What?
Yeah, I didn't say it. So yeah, Derrick Henry, him. Like McCaffrey gets his first touchdown with the Niners. Screw it.
It's about time that he gets more carries, and he still got 12 to 15 last week.
Yeah, he got a lot of touches and he looked good. And I'm gonna say Saquon.
Good pick.
Against the Seahawks, they give up a lot.
I really like going into this secondary parlay too. James brought up the Giants. Great segue into the Giants +3. I would play it safe, take their ATS. They're awesome against the spread. I like to pair that with the other New York team, the Jets, +2.5 this week as well. I'll take the Colts Commanders under 39.5 for the game. And because of that betting trend, I like the Eagles -6 ATS in the first half. Those
Giants
would be
+3 is crazy against Seattle. I know it's away, but
kind of blows my mind.
They're playing really well.
Kind of blows my mind.
I don't know.
So those would be the 4 that I like outside of actual player props this week. Sunday Night Football. You guys want to go into that?
Turn it off, people.
Probably.
Bill spread, lock. Diggs 2+.
Jeez.
I just don't know what to think about that Packers secondary because they should be better than they are right now. And is this the game that they figure it out? Just the secondary. I'm not talking about the offense. Just the secondary.
I put a lot of it on the coaching. I know the players have to play, right? You got to do your job. But, dude, the coaching's been abysmal so far. We've been out-coached every game, I feel like. You said we're 0-7 in the second half against the spread. That's a coaching issue.
It's making no adjustments at halftime.
Zero, none. None at all, because we're winning going into halftime. So we're like, oh, we don't have to do anything different. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. And then we change what we're doing, and it's not giving our playmakers the ball. Rodgers is pissed trying to tell the coach what to do, and they're not listening. It's bad right now. It's really not a good environment.
It's a combo of a lot of things, like you said. It's coaching for one, but it's also the inability to catch the football on offense.
Yeah. And we're one of the better man. I thought we were one of the better man defenses. I still like to think that. And our new defensive coordinator is a zone coach, which I don't understand. You should play to the strengths of your defense. And he just continues to play zone defense, and teams burn us. Like, if Jair's on the main guy, he might score a touchdown or something, but Jair's our best shot at stopping anybody through the air.
Jair is still one of the best defensive backs in all of football.
He has to be, yeah. It's just I think it's a coaching issue a lot. Obviously, our weapons on offense are deteriorating, but give Aaron Jones the ball, play man defense, and I think the team can change it.
Diggs will drool over man defense.
He probably will.
Yeah, Diggs is a monster. Yeah, I'm sure he'd still eat up Jair, but not as much as he would zone. Zone, he would have 14 receptions.
You have the Battle of the Ohio in Monday Night Football. Bengals, Browns. I know you just kind of said blah, but that is still, to me, an intriguing matchup to watch on TV.
You were talking about the Browns overs too, and it's 46.5. It's a little low, I think.
And Joey B started to figure out. He started to figure it out.
I think 4 to 6 touchdowns in this game, and I like it. I think it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, the Browns, they are. I brought this up on my fantasy football podcast this week. They're in win now mode, and we know that because they handed over 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson in the offseason. So when Deshaun Watson comes back, he will be an X factor for people that are middle of the pack going into the fantasy playoffs. So if you play in a redraft league, taking Deshaun Watson, this was my pick of the week. Pick him up now. I don't care if you have to sit on him for 5 weeks, pick him up now. Because you're at the point in the season to where there's so many quarterbacks out there that are underperforming, and you just need to grasp at someone. You gotta find someone to hold on to, and he's the guy to grab on the free agent wire right now. Only 16% owned in most leagues. I did not check it previous to the waiver. This was before. But what I was going to say is, since the Browns are in win now mode, they need to start figuring it out. They're 2-5 right now. 2-5. If they want a chance at the playoffs, they have to win this football game. And in order to do that, you have to score. So that's why I don't disagree at all, James, at the fact that you think there will be touchdowns scored in this game.
Yeah, I think Chubb's a lock to get in. That dude's playing
Amari
awesome.
Cooper, too.
I like Cooper. I was honestly going to throw Njoku in there this week. Njoku's been getting a lot hurt.
Yeah, I thought he was out.
Yeah, he's going to miss a couple weeks. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I just saw he was getting a lot of love the past couple weeks. And
he had 70 he had 7 for 70 through 2.5 quarters and then rolled his ankle.
It's probably when I left my buddies. And
high
he
ankle
was
sprain,
feasting. Wide open too.
Well, now I'm definitely going to put Pooper in there.
Yeah, got to put Amari Pooper.
Yep. And then I would just go
Chase and Mixon.
I'd just go Chase and Mixon, honestly, keep it safe. And I still think that'd be at least 3,000 plus 3,000.
Let's build a parlay. And I know we had chatted about a different process here. So explain, boys, what you guys were talking about of how you think we should approach build a parlay from this point forward. We are 1-5. That is typical for something as crazy as a build a parlay segment. So don't look too far into that record because some bets have been completely outrageous. Some have been safer, and we do and should take heat for those bets. But explain a possible new process or approach that we may go.
So I think I placed the wrong bet, obviously last week, and I was just kind of sitting there minus 170, minus 120, minus 150, and come on, boys, we can do better than that. So I'm thinking we take turns each week with somebody doing something a little more juicy. It doesn't have to be as outrageous as an Albert Pujols home run. Something that's like plus 500-600. But I don't know, something just that's going to boost the odds a little bit up, make it juicier. The other two guys can play it as safe as they want, obviously. But I think we need to see those odds a little bit better than I think last week, which was like 420 or 520 for the 3 plays.
Still a decent payout.
Yeah.
Can't discount making $75 opposed to, say, $110.
Yeah, like it could save the weekend.
So, just something to keep in mind. I don't disagree. So, cue the music. Let's build a parlay. Troy, what do you got?
With Alvin having all the stuff going on with what happened in Vegas, I'm going to do an Alvin Kamara anytime touchdown against the Raiders.
Kamara TD. James?
I think I'm going to go to that Blues game on Saturday. I will actually be in attendance at the game. When I am at the game, Jordan Kyrou likes to score goals.
Hey, I'm all about the trends.
The last game I was at in Chicago against the Blackhawks, I bet on Jordan Kyrou first goal, and he scored first. I'm not going to take him first goal. Those odds he'd be like plus 1,500 or something. But I am going to take a Jordan Kyrou anytime goal.
Hey, I'll take the first game of the week for Build a Parlay. Give me Oklahoma State money line plus 100. Add that in.
Boys, this is going to be a good one.
Kyrou goal. Kamara TD, Oklahoma State money line. Please, sports betting gods, please, I beg of you, don't let me be the loser this week. I want to get deep. I want to get to that Kamara touchdown. Let's get through Saturday, get to that touchdown. We'll build a parlay. We'll make some money. And that's how the cookie crumbles here on Big Plays, Bad Days, and Parlays. For Troy Aldridge, James Merrig, I'm Andrew Rogers. Thanks so much for joining us, and tune in next week for Big Days, Bad Days, and Parlays.